Good morning. I'm going to do a Parks on the Air activation today. We're at Meridian State Park in Texas, and nice and cold, 37 degrees. So this might be a bit of a mess of a video because I don't know how to edit anything to save my life, but we'll see how it comes out. A quick view of where we're set up here, just down by the lake, and still a pretty nice day. Got a little bit of hail came down on me as I was coming into this area, but hopefully it holds off for a while and gets nice. All right, so here's everything before we set up. There's basically a shack and a bag. I've got a solar panel, got my iPad for logging, bottle of water for when I get hoarse. And that's the basic setup right now. So I'm going to start packing everything out and get it all set up. Okay, so here's the bag exploded a little bit. We got a 12 amp hour cheapo Amazon battery, which has been amazingly good. Power cable with the voltmeter on there. Got a 891. Got my little cheapo TYT handheld just in case, and then we're going to be using a Buddistick Pro to start out with and see how we do. And I do have a in-fed half wave and a 20-meter resonant dipole sitting over in my truck right now, but I'm just going to try. And then I have a nano VNA for tuning up this buddy pole with. So far it's been a pretty good combination. I've worked the world on this so far, and I'm hoping it works out well for this POTA activation. Okay, so I finally finished setting up. It took me about 15 minutes or so. Went together pretty easy, and SWR came up pretty nicely. I'm sitting on a nice 1.3 SWR right now after playing with it for a minute, and I'll give you a little look at the whole setup here in just a second. Okay, so starting with my cheap Harbor Freight gloves, which I shall put on in a minute because it's pretty cold. I've got a Yeasu FT-891 set up. Get the old girl fired up here, and I'm using an iPad 6 with HamRS for logging. Then I've got my cheapo Chins battery, Bioenno 60-watt solar panel. Of course, the great backpack here does a wonderful job of fitting everything in. And then I've got my Bioenno charge controller, which right now, even in minimal light, is charging pretty well. Now, a little walk over here towards the antenna. As you can see, it's a Buddistick Pro. I have a single guying point with just a little cheap piece of builder's twine holding it down to a nice little tent peg in the ground. This is a little add-on I made. It's this little eye bolt, and I screw it into the bottom of the main assembly there. And of course, you got your counterpoise running out there to an electric fence stake, which is a good insulator. Anyway, let's get on the air and see what we can do. All right, folks. Well, me being an awful videographer here, I managed to completely and utterly ignore recording any of the POTA contacts that made. However, just give you a little idea, set up at around about 8:30 in the morning. It is now 9:37 a.m. and worked 20 meters for Parks on the Air, had 55 QSOs during that period, just to give you a little idea. And we've gone all the way from, kind of the Carolinas, Alabama, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Canadian station. We've done pretty well. Got some great signal reports. I know it says it's 5.9 down the road, but that's just simply just due to expediency at this point. But been averaging 5.9, 5.8, 5.7 pretty much everywhere that I've talked to. If any of you guys that made contact with me are on the list here, then just thanks very much for helping make it possible. But I was able to activate the park in probably around 10 minutes, so worked out very well. Thanks for watching, and everybody have a great day in 73. Now, one of the things I keep getting asked about by various people, friends, and other hams I bump into is kind of how my bag's all set up. Basically, the radio store's in there. It's not cut out right now due to the fact that I've just changed to these rails to protect the radio a little bit. But generally speaking, what I do is I just kind of take this and cut it. I got a little piece of foam cut out in there, and then it's also inletted a little bit lower down for a Zygu G90, which is what I was running previously. But basically, it's kind of goes like this. You got the radio in the back there, and then I've got my Buddistick Pro sitting on top of that. And then from there, I have a Mat 30 tuner set up in here. And then from there, the next pocket down is where I store my battery and power cable. And that works out pretty darn well as well. So, I just kind of basically have it all there. I'd also have a little RF choke there which when I'm using my end-fed half wave, it tends to be a bit necessary. Get a lot of RF feedback on there. Also carry 50 feet of coax there, but with BNC adapters on there. That works pretty well. I can generally adapt to whatever I need to. I have all the adapters in there. And like I said earlier, I've got my little solar panel, which is the only thing that doesn't fit in this backpack. And then the battery and power cable, they just tuck right in. So that's that, and I'll come back and do a little bit of an after-action report once I get finished packing this up. Okay, well, all finished with activating. That was my first parks on the air, and really had a pretty good time. Very, very busy, learned a lot of lessons. First being is don't try to paper log and try and switch it over to HamRS or some other logging app. Just poke it straight in there and go. Second one, find a cold, less cold day. That's certainly a good one. All right, so really had a good time. Learned a lot about how to manage pileups. Haven't really done a whole lot of that. So this was a good learning experience, a lot of fun. Made 55 QSOs. Had a good time doing it, and couldn't beat the scenery around here. It's just absolutely beautiful out here at Meridian State Park. I don't have my little junior operator with me today because she decided to do horse riding instead of hanging out with Dad. But it was still good. I'm packed up and heading back in. I had originally planned on trying to do a little bit of VHF or UHF here off of one of the local repeaters and see if we could get some of our local tech class licenses in on the Parks on the Air activation. But unfortunately, it's a little bit too remote out here, and I wasn't able to pick up any of the repeaters around here that kind of translate to my general area. But it was still a lot of fun. 73, thanks for watching, and I'll post something up with a bit more preparation next time. I'm going to try to find my tripod and video camera and actually pull those out and kind of record some of the conversations instead of leaving everybody in the dark. But anyway, thank you. Take care. Bye.